The first Dark Souls is one of those games that I just keep coming back to. Don't get me wrong, I love the entire series, yes, even Dark Souls 2. But to me there is just something so magical about the first game. And there's a moment fairly early on that I've never seen another person talk about. It's just a small moment of environmental storytelling that gets glossed over. And maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I've inferred a false narrative. But even so, I'd like to share this moment with you, to see if you agree. So early on in the game, you have a goal. Ring 2 bells of awakening. One up above in the undead parish, and the other down below through Blighttown. Now, if you know anything about this game, even though you can attempt to ring the bells in either order, the game definitely wants you to go to the undead parish first. Now, on your journey, you may meet a few people who don't instantly want to kill you. Instead, most of the time these friendly folks will offer to sell you gear or spells, and apart from a few vendors who choose or are forced to stay where they are, they will typically head to the game's closest thing to a central hub, Firelink Shrine. And the thing that makes Firelink Shrine so important is the bonfire, kept alight by the Firekeeper. And then you meet Lautrec. Lautrec is a cunt. I'm sure he has his fans, but I'm not one of them. Mild spoilers, but you meet Lautrec locked in a room in the Church of the Undead Parish. And if you save him, he will also move to Firelink Shrine. Even if you don't save him, he will eventually break out and make his way there himself. And there he waits, until you ring the second bell of awakening in Blighttown. At which point, he kills the Firekeeper of Firelink Shrine. This means you can no longer rest at Firelink. No more inventory management, and no more level ups. But here's the thing. The game makes it very clear that Lautrec is going to kill the Firekeeper. And it's not just the way he sits across from her, or the things that he says when he got to Firelink. When you first enter the church, there are guards all over the place, including a Tower Knight and a Grand Archive Scholar, a late-game enemy. At the back of the church is an altar with a corpse and a Firekeeper's soul. And because of the world-collapsing, time-has-lost-all-meaning nature of Dark Souls, I originally thought that the soul had been there for a long time. It was a powerful item on an altar in a church, very video gamey. But then I realized that Lautrec isn't in a prison. He's locked in a storage room in the church. It has a cell, but it definitely isn't screaming prison cell. More like a place the church can store precious items. And then it dawned on me. Lautrec hasn't been locked up for very long. He killed the Firekeeper in the church, and as a result, he was captured and locked in a closet while they figured out what to do with him. From the moment you enter the church, the game is warning you that this guy is dangerous. Even before you've met him, it is screaming that he will mess with you. Up until now, everyone you meet is slowly going hollow, and the game creates this expectation within the player that as the world slowly dies, very little changes. And only through the agency of the player, as the chosen undead, is any real change being made. But Lautrec isn't like everyone else. He still has purpose, and like you, he refuses to go hollow. It's just that his goal happens to work against your goal. This can also be seen as how he's the only character who will make their way to Firelink Shrine whether or not you interact with them. It wasn't until my third playthrough that I began to see the signs. Lautrec killed the Firekeeper in the Undead Parish Church, possibly as recently as only a few hours before the player gets there, but was overwhelmed by the security in the church. He likely thought that he could handle anything in the church, but was taken down by the tag team of the Tower Knight and the Archive Scholar, which led him to being locked in the closet while they figured out what to do with him, up until you, the player, set him free, or he makes his escape. But what do you think? Do you agree with this interpretation of events, or do you see things differently? I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. And if you like this kind of analysis, I have another Dark Souls video planned for the near future, So if that interests you, consider giving the channel a subscribe. But until next time, take care, and I look forward to ranting for you again soon.